Hello, it's Maury, and I'm going to show you a few stretches for when you've started up walking again. This was a request from one of my clients, and I think it'd be good for anybody, even if you haven't started exercising or if you've been exercising all along, to know a few stretches of mainly the lower limbs. So if you're not all that limber, you can sit in a chair, but you can also do this standing or getting down on the floor. And what I would first do is do some flexion and extension with your foot. I would do that 3 to 5 times. When I went for a long walk with a friend of mine, even though I think my calf got really tight, where I'm feeling the tenderness is in the shin, and as I point my toe, I really, it feels good to activate that. You'll want to do this on both sides, but you can do this in any order. I'm going to probably try to stick with just one side, and then you can repeat with the other side. You can also go inversion and eversion. So just gentle movements. Again, you'll turn your foot so that your little toe is pointing down towards the ground as much as possible and the big toe is up. That's inversion. And eversion is the opposite, with your big toe down and your little toe up. And then we call circumduction, going with first one foot, first in one direction, then the other. And you can even, try to rest your leg a little bit if it's too hard to hold your leg up to do this. And then the next one that's really valuable, and I would hold these stretches for a lot longer. I just want to show you several of them so that you can go through them. You can pause the video, or you can just pick one that feels like it's really going to feel good to you at this time. So the next that you want to do is really get a good stretch on your calf muscle. I'm just going to turn to the side, and you can use your chair as a support. You want to get your legs back. You can get a deeper stretch just with one foot. And I'm using my chair as a support. I don't know that you can see that. You can use your chair further. The further you go, the bigger stretch you'll get. I'm focusing on the leg. And you can also do this on a stair. I'm going to show you on a chair as if I were on a stair, but it takes some balance, so I wouldn't do this unless you really are comfortable with your balance. But again, you want to get your foot up a little bit higher and then have your toes on the chair and just reach down. Again, this is probably better to do on a chair if you're not comfortable with your on the stairs if you're not comfortable with your balance. And feel that stretch. How low you go depends on how low you go with the rest of your body will determine where you might feel the stretch. Because when I was up in the chair and my hands were down, I was feeling some in the calf and some in the quads. Each of us have our own patterns, so you may feel it somewhere else as well. The other place that I really felt a stretch was in my hips, or where I feel a lot of tightness is in my hips. So a lot of yoga stretches will show you doing something like a lunge, and that may be too much for you. However, you can do something like a lunge using a chair where you sit on it. This is a smaller chair, but you could almost use any chair, and you sit on it resting with one leg, one thigh pointing forward, and then as far back as you can go with the other thigh, and opening up in that hip. That gets a nice stretch for me right in this area here of my quadricep. And I would hold this for as long as it feels good. Again, as you start to feel like it's opening up a little bit, you can go a little bit further, and you can hold this stretch for as long as 3 to 5 minutes, but you definitely at least want to hold it for about 30 seconds to a minute. And again, if you want to create more change and get more lasting release, then hold it longer. So, and then just to do it on the other side, I would flip the chair around. Again, sitting on it, kind of straddling it, and reaching back. And this is for, you know, anybody. You can reach as far as you can. The straighter you get your back knee, the more stretch you'll feel in your quadricep. Again, I'm just showing a couple of stretches here so that it can be a good start. Now, if you can get your knee up and cross it over, you may not be able to get it this high. So straighten your leg and get it a little bit. And as you bend forward, you'll get some stretch in your low back and a little bit in your hips. So again, you need to figure out where you are at, whether you can be lower. You sit on the edge of the bed or the edge of a sofa so that you feel that you're not going to tip over. You can straighten the leg or bend it to get it higher. Even just holding on with your knee as much as this and pushing the bent knee down towards the ground gets a good stretch into the gluteus muscles and piriformis. And then actually for me, I can feel it even almost into parts of the IT band running right along this part of my thigh. And again, if you can't get it, if you can't get your knee up in this position, you can start with it lower and then try pushing a little bit. And I can still feel it as my foot is pretty low. And so that was getting the inner thigh, the outer thigh, the calf, and pointing with the front here, and getting all of those muscles.